the top of Anderson.
Get over
Cracks all the way back in,
It
does. And he's locked in, but what a goal!
Inundated. So popular.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Canley here in Melbourne, Australia. This is Terry Hopkins and Chris McWhirter bringing you live play here at the Trans-Tasman between New Zealand and Australia. We're just showing you this morning Court 2, and it's a mixed doubles competition between Chris and Judy of Australia versus Edmund and Helen of New Zealand. And with me is Chris McWhirter, who's represented Australia a number of times, and he will lead most of the commentary through the morning. How are you today, Chris?
Good, Terry. Thanks for stitching me up there. I don't know whether I'll be taking most of the commentary, but I do like the little shout out that I'm down there playing with Judy at the moment. But,
Sorry.
Didn't quite get to smother Pete in his bed last night as the first reserve, but no, I'm sure Pete will do really well today. They've all just started off, a couple of little misses, but yeah, ball positioning looking pretty good for Edmund and Helen at the moment. So Pete's just missing slightly to the right there. So Edmund and Helen have been quite a strong pairing so far. They didn't lose their mixed doubles in the first round, but they've gone on to win everything since. And
That's a nice hoop, though.
beautiful angled hoop there in Edmund style through to the boundary, making a statement early.
He's quite a firm hitter, Edmund. He strikes the ball most of the time quite firmly. So that's about hoop high, quite a bit to the left from Judy.
So much better start with the coin today. Australia winning 3 of the 4 tosses. We had a shocking run yesterday. We lost 6 of the 8 in the singles with the coin toss, so they've obviously worked on that overnight.
Absolutely. And New Zealand haven't won the first test. Australia now lead 3-1 at close of play last night in the second test.
Yep. So we've got 2 rounds to go to finish off these 1.5 day tests. So that's another round of mixed doubles today, and then followed by singles. Another 8 rounds of singles in the afternoon. So each test is basically 8 rounds of doubles and 8 rounds of singles.
And you can see up on court 3, Ali just ran hoop 1 for New Zealand. So they take a 1-0 lead against Edward and Wendy.
Court 4, we've got Robert and Allison versus George and Dallas. And looks like Aussies started a little bit slowly there. They're 2-0 down by the looks of it. Yep. And George making a nice roquet up in the top corner. Court 1, they're still paddling around hoop 1. Yep. We've got Greg and Fleur versus Felix and Sonia.
So Edmund chose not to clear there. He just came in on Pete's ball. Got a nice block. So the yellow ball's covering the black from the hoop. There's about 1/4 of the ball covered. So great shot. So Judy's been able to pick that yellow off, which was almost touching the black, so that's a very good shot.
So red most likely here is probably going to push black on. Helen took away a lot of the balls yesterday rather than going for long hoops like a lot of the boys, but
Yeah.
certainly worked for her. She's
Yeah.
won everything but her mixed doubles in the opening round.
She's a very, very accurate straight shooter. And if you continue to hit in the middle like that, you stay nice and close to the hoop.
Well, that's right. She's maybe not a scoring ball there, but she can certainly jaws and cause a bit of trouble for the Aussie team.
It seems they try to keep one ball close to the hoop as a protection ball until the other one can get into a striking position.
So court 3 with Wendy and Ned running the second hoop. So it's 1-1 Aussie on court 3 against Duncan and Ellie.
Edmund plays very quickly, doesn't he? He doesn't spend a lot of time over his mallet. He makes his decision and then walks up and really strikes the ball quite quickly, doesn't he?
He's very talented, and he's obviously had a lot of success in the last few years. He's going to be a very strong Kiwi player for many years to come.
Yep.
So Judy's taken away Edmund, which is, they've obviously made the assessment that red can't run the hoop there.
Yep.
Or if it does jaws, then black's there to cover it. So more than likely Helen will probably take black away again maybe. But they are looking for the jaws, so there might be some life there in the hoop for them.
And for those of you who might be wondering, there is most of the people out there are wearing shorts, but it's absolutely freezing here today, so so we've got some Spartan players.
Edward Wilson from Australia is the only one wearing long pants. Everyone else is in shorts. And yesterday in the blistering cold, all of Kiwi blokes were in the shorts all day.
Yeah. That certainly made a statement.
And then the hoop too tight there. Helen going for the hoop run rather than the jaws because black was too dangerous. So.
And probably their assessment there was that if she missed that, there wouldn't be any worse position. And you know, so.
Yeah.
So Pete will now be deciding whether to move the black and stop in front of the hoop, come off at an angle to be in front, or whether to leave it for Judy to move the red.
I think I'd like to see red on the boundary.
Yes.
With Edmund shooting, he's only got a 7-yarder. It's not going to be.
Yeah, there haven't been too many 7-yarders missed by the boys this weekend so far.
So the courts haven't been too bad. They're not quite at their best. They've done a lot of work on them over the last few months. There's still quite a bit of sand around, and they were mown last night, so they'll be a bit quicker again today, getting a bit more like Canley sort of conditions.
The good thing about them is that the pace seems to be quite even. So all over all four of the centre courts, the pace seems to be consistent.
Yeah, that's right. So being moved around. They're primarily just using these front four courts for all of the doubles action, and then for the singles they're extending out to the two either side. But like I say, it's very much the same pace all over, so you're not discovering.
It was tricky yesterday with the wind. The wind really got up and that made it extremely tricky conditions. So it was some pretty good croquet played in those conditions yesterday.
Yeah.
That's Judy just taking out the yellow, which is a smart move, leaving 2 offensive balls for the Australians, and then New Zealand's now with 2 defensive balls.
And it's good for her to hit Edmund a couple of times in a row now as well, which is
Yes,
great.
yes.
I do like the last ball in, first ball out sort of mentality. And you'd think Pete would be taking on the hoop here.
Yep. Pete's quite an aggressive approach. If he has a ball within 7 yards, he'll generally take it, as you'll find most of the men do at this competition.
Yeah. You pretty much need to now. Quite
Missed
a ways
that.
to the right.
Yeah, flick the right leg.
Puts a bit of pressure on Judy now. This could be a reversing the hoop here for Kiwi,
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see whether Edmund just places or hits Judy to the boundary.
No, he'll come in.
Come in, yep.
Put the pressure on the shot. 2 in front.
So try and turn this over completely.
It must have been the extra mo last night. It's put a bit of put an extra foot on the ball for him.
Yeah, the courts were made last night, as Chris just mentioned, so they're a little quicker this morning than they were yesterday. So all the players will have to adjust to that increase in pace.
So court 1, New Zealand has scored the first hoop, so Felix and Sonia taking the first, but Greg and Fleur are fighting hard at hoop 2 to level. And Judy with the long hoop shot. Looks good off the stick.
Oh, that's just stuck into hoop.
That's
We got a bit excited there. That looked like it was tracking straight for it.
that was amazing. And Edmund's shot, maybe it was intentional because he's wide from Pete's ball, the black ball there. So maybe it wasn't the mo. Maybe it was more design than accident after all. So,
yes.
but I think he'll be not directing Helen to do anything too rash here. I think he'll be excited by his jump shot.
Yeah. It's at that very nice little distance of just under 3 feet, which is pretty much a natural jump distance for most people.
Yes, Edmund just directing to go halfway. I really don't think Pete's got anything on yellow, so Pete will probably try and be lipping off the red.
Yep. Yeah, you won't allow the red to stay halfway like that, so.
Well, it's the only... Australia's going to be in a pretty poor situation if yellow jumps blue, and it's a good turnover for Kiwi there. I think that today is the probably the most even mixed pairings we've had so far. If you looked on paper across the park, there's some very good combinations.
Alison and Robin have just fought back to 3-2 down against George.
George and Dallas.
George and Dallas, sorry.
So Pete must have a little bit of something there.
Yeah.
He's
going to try and nip it. So Pete will try and nip this. If he can hit it to angle, then Edmund won't be able to jump. Nope,
no, very
drifted straight past.
Very tight. Australia is all out of position now. This is could bring tears early. Oh, that's lucky for Australia. He's pulled the blue back,
Pulled
so
the blue back out, yeah.
it's not going to be as disastrous as we thought. So, but we're still 2-0 down.
2-0. Actually, I was a little fortunate that that didn't take the blue through because it did flick it on the way through.
No. There's a special mention to the Australian manager there, walking around the court trying to get into camera shot. She's eager to be on film. So.
Yes.
So Anne Quinn's been doing a good job.
Yes. We just like her to come out of her shell a little bit
Yeah,
more.
no, that's right.
Be even better.
She did manage to lock the girls' keys in the house today, so that's the job of her to fix up later today, is to work out where the girls are staying tonight. So.
Fortunately, the car keys weren't there.
Yeah, that's right.
So it's a nice shot from Judy. It's
Yeah, so she's a runner, and having such an accurate partner as Edmund, it's Helen has the luxury of just laying up into position and expecting Edmund to smack that blue ball.
yeah. Well, he's 14 yards off it, so
Pete
Pete's
coming in trying to get the
looking for the block.
but
Bit off past.
he's also a runner, so if
Yep.
if Edmund doesn't get all of blue, blue can deal with red. Oh,
He's missed it. Yeah,
Right.
that's a bit unusual. But, good for Australia.
We'll take that. So just put it through, Jude. She's starting to get very straight now as well. She's
Yeah.
a little bit off at the start of the tests yesterday or day before, but
Yeah.
and that hoop 2 attempt was very close from deep and angled. So
Yeah, understandably, most of the players are now settling down. You know, nerves have been shaken out, and they're all approaching their very best play. So the quality of play is extremely high yesterday afternoon in really difficult conditions. And again, this morning we expect it'll be excellent play again. So there's a nice hoop by Judy.
yeah, so she pulled the pace back a little bit on that one. I think she's just wants to get the score on the board and
Yep.
make sure. But that'll give her heaps of confidence for next
Yeah.
time.
It's a good lesson for anybody who's playing out there. If you're a little bit nervous early on, you know, don't try and do it too much. Just make sure you run the hoop and settle yourself into the game. Yeah, so Australia now trail by 1 hoop to 2.
So Helen lags about 4 yards short of the hoop.
So if Australia could turn this corner, a 2-all would be a bonus, but they'll be trying to double up on the 2 central hoops if they don't get this. So that's a
Pete's,
great shot by Pete.
Pete is looking good.
Very good.
Door's still open for red, but he's in there. Edmund's also coming in, but he's a bit angled. He's
Yep.
got the line a little bit wrong there,
Yeah.
and the court's just taken it
Taken
away
it-
from
Yeah, probably
hoop
another
running
6
spot.
inches further out.
So Judy's a little bit hampered, calling the ref. Should be fine though, looking at the angle she's going for. But
The danger here is a push. Got the tick on that one, so red to play.
back on court 1, Greg and Fleur have look like they've wrapped up hoop 2. They're in the jaws with a potential promoting ball on the way through, and Kiwi is separated, so that'll be back to 1 all there.
So Helen chooses to
Actually, I got that
clear.
wrong. I got that wrong. Kiwi are in the draw. Sorry. so we need a big shot from Greg now to keep us out.
Yeah. The description was right, just the team was wrong.
That's right. Wishful thinking.
Yeah.
So used to Australia being red and yellow after yesterday.
So Helen's cleared Judy's ball from in front of Pete's ball, sorry, from in front of hoop 4.
And
Pete comes back with a nice clearance.
And a ball. That's a great shot because Black's a runner.
Yep. Yeah, so Black's about 3 yards out now. It's over a slight angle. Helen ball's just inside the boundary, so she'd have about a 9-yarder at Pete. And Pete's trying to position Judy to block Helen's ball. No block, but that's pretty handy. It's in between blocked Edmund at least, forcing a jump if Pete leaves his ball there.
It's going to be a pretty tough shot for Pete still as well with the yellow, because he's going to have to come at it with an angle and not be able to hold position. That's Helen with a little snicko, but blue's still runnable.
Yes. So
that probably makes Pete's shot a bit easier now, because he might be able to get yellow down on the wire spot. So
yes.
It's
but he certainly, in clearing yellow, he'll have to take his ball out of scoring position. So, so we're relying on the blue ball as a scoring ball now. Unless he wants to jump that yellow, Chris.
Well,
like some people.
What would you do, Terry? Shooter Hopkins. Yeah. Oh, he's hit the ball, which is great, but he's didn't get the angle. But
Fleur's just run 3, so that's great.
Oh, she's done it well too, right down to hoop number 4. So that's 1-2. Still trailing after a shotgun start. The Kiwis have started really well in all days, all tests. They
have. They've been ready. Edmund's played a beautiful clearance on Judy's ball, taking it right up to the far boundary.
He likes the 7-8 yarders. It's just bread and butter.
Very seldom they don't hit the middle.
But maybe we need a better coffee run in the morning or something. I'm not sure. Australia seems a bit slow out the blocks every day so far. So, but in this test match, we're first round in. We're in the lead, 3 matches to 1. So.
And they are best of 3s, the game, so it's important to start well, but it's not everything.
It's been very long days as well. I mean, yesterday was nearly 10 hours. There was a 1-hour lunch break because it was the test finished in the middle of the day, so there was an hour break between the start of the next test. But both days so far have been quite long.
Yeah, it's a good point because fatigue, both mental and physical, will start to play soon. And it's pretty grueling playing under this level of pressure for that amount of time, day after day. So Helen's got about 4-footer directly in front and clunked that one into the right leg. She didn't miss many of those yesterday at all.
I've been surprised by the number of misses, I think, because they're not misses necessarily from the hoop rejecting. It's more just clunking into the leg. Yeah. Whereas I think in the Trans-Tasman 4 years ago in New Zealand at Nelson Himanoa, it was the hoop rejection. It was the conditions were creating the error. But, so a few players getting used to the courts, and because the hoops aren't that particularly tough, I don't think.
No.
We would try to make them as tough as we can, but the ground is a bit sandy and it's a bit soft. But
so they loosen up for those who haven't played here a lot. The hoops loosen up after they've been hit a couple of times. I think Yeah, yesterday there were a lot of easy, relatively what you'd think were easy shots missed, but that was because of the wind. People had difficulty standing still, and those who cast were having a lot of trouble keeping their casts straight. So it wasn't surprising yesterday, but the conditions today, while chilly, it's perfect to play croquet.
Yeah, I don't think New Zealand's probably used to being out there as long, so
Yeah.
maybe that's...
Yeah, it could be the fatigue factor, as we were talking. So New Zealand have taken quite defensive positions there. Have you seen, Chris, any sort of strategic play that you've not seen in the past over the last couple of days?
I don't think there's been anything unusual. I guess that's, it is a world game. It's, people either play a couple of different styles, the position hit sort of style, or a bit more of a manipulation and trying to get the up and downs or the jawsings and things like that. But it's been very much the players backing their skills, which I've been most impressed with, is the fact that they're not holding back. So there's been a bit of failure, but they're all going for it. They're backing themselves on the 14 yards, and they're not. There hasn't been a lot of emotion. There doesn't seem to be a lot of concern about missing, because they know they're going to get the next one. That's the thing. It's not, they're not missing. It's miss, hit.
Yeah, exactly. No, I think you're right. It's
but in terms of ball positioning and tactical stuff, it's been, I suppose when you've got the weapons of their great shooting, you don't have to play around and defend the front of the hoop as much as I suppose if some of the other tournaments and worlds that we've been to, you see a lot more of maybe defending the front of the hoop. Going a little bit wider and smacking them away to the long boundaries, but here it's just get a ball that can score. There's been a lot more shooting through the back boundary, a lot more, so taking the 7-yard hoop. That's probably the main difference. It hasn't been, and that's probably just a testament of the good shooting. Players aren't putting themselves 1 or 2 foot out, directly in front there, going
to the
back.
boundary.
And maybe here in Australia we go 5-6 yards out rather than the boundary, but it seems to be, and Robert and a few of the Aussie boys, they're certainly doing that now. They're going to the back boundary, and in the warm-ups everyone's taking 7-yard hoop shots. So, they're practicing it, they're using it in the match. So that's probably the thing I've been impressed with, is just oh goody, it's only a 7-yard hoop shot.
Yes, that's right. The actual clearances, the place the first ball and clear with the second has just been phenomenal.
So Judy's come in nice and close, which is going to allow Pete the shot through on
the 7-yarder
Edmund.
The 7-yarder at Edmund's ball.
Edmund's asking Helling to come into position, which means he's obviously very happy to smack Judy back on whatever return roquet he has. So, she's been caught out with the same hill as Edmund. It's
just taken it away.
It is definitely rolling towards corner 4. She hasn't allowed for that at all.
So as we talked before, 7-yarders no longer seems to be a big deal. So Pete's Judy just set her ball up in front of the hoop, and Pete takes the 7-yarder.
He's don't think he's got Edmund far enough away though.
No, he didn't quite get the angle or the power onto that he wanted.
But perhaps he's done that because Helen's ball ran. If Helen's was a runner, I think he would have gone more for a kill shot then. So I think he's almost trying to rotate with control then.
Yeah, he was. I think he might have been trying to set in front of 5. So now Edmund's on the boundary, 7 yards off the hoop. So no matter where Jude comes, he'll be stalking her.
He'll have the same shot that Pete just had, but I reckon it will be a much firmer shot than Pete.
Judy's ball will probably be out of bounds on the far boundary. So she'll have to go. Well, the trouble is, if he goes deep, then he can hit at the top boundary, and you don't want that. So.
not sure what's happening on court
No,
4
I
with
think
Robert and
somebody's played
Allison, but
out
someone's either
of turn.
played out or done a fault or something funny's happened. But Robert's getting George to go marching back, and
Okay, so this will be interesting to see where Judy. So Helen's ball is just left of the hoop, side adjacent to the hoop. You're 1 yard off it. Edmund's on the boundary, probably a yard and a half up from the hoop.
Yeah.
And Pete's just on the other side of hoop 5. So Judy's got an open area to land in, but they're just trying to decide how deep or how much angle to put on the ball.
yeah, well, you can't go too close to the red to give
No.
Helen an easy stop shot, or
Yes.
stun shot, as the Kiwis like to call it. I mean, Edmund will be just asking red to come in, and he'll deal with blue wherever it ends up.
Yes.
But it looks like they're going to a
They're gonna play
defensive
defensive,
spot and
yep.
cover the front of the hoop.
So that means that Edmund can only push Judy to the back boundary, 7
Oh.
yards off play.
But Edmund will take position.
Yes.
He's probably got a good chance to wire through the 5th hoop on black. Not red will make position, sorry.
Yeah.
So,
So Helen to play with the red. So he's setting her up with a wire on Pete through the, and also just a wire on Pete through hoop 5. That looks pretty close.
yeah, I think blue might have gone a little bit. I mean, I know they're trying to kill the angle for,
Yep.
for Edmund there, but I think that blue on red's 7-8. Bit of a twitchy shot.
Yes, yeah, a knee knocker as we call it.
So it looks like Fleur and Greg have settled down on court 1. It was they're 3-2 down at the moment, but they
Did a good job to catch up to 2-2.
yeah, they got it back to 2 after being 2-0 down. They got back to 2-2, and look like they've got good position on hoop 6 because Felix is hampered after running the hoop. So
Pete's
they're looking
played.
like they should.
Pete's played to a block behind red. He's used red to hide from yellow.
So,
Edmund's had to come in to try and end block black from the hoop.
yeah, so it all comes down to blue
Hitting.
killing that red ball. So there you go, blue on red is the shot here, and hopefully leaving Pete with the hoop. And
Got the red, but got the black too.
got the first part of the plan, and yeah, always a bit of a danger there, unfortunately. But Pete still has a shot through on Edmund. So
And Wendy and Edward are 3-3 against Duncan and Ali. So that's a close game as well.
yeah, they've also come back. Kiwis won the first hoop on every game
Yes.
again, so we've got to try and stamp that out tomorrow. So we've worked out what to do with the toss. Now we've got to work out what to do with hoop 1.
And the problem is we only played red and yellow in one game.
Yeah.
So we were first away in 3 of the games.
Yeah, and they overturned it.
So Kiwis now really crowding the hoop. Oh, great hoop, Pete.
Pete runs the hoop.
So
Well done.
Pete's run that from
And that
probably 7 yards at quite an angle.
good
so
angle.
that was-
And I'm pretty confident that was an actual hoop.
Oh,
attempt
yes,
there, because
yeah.
I mean,
He had
a
nothing.
little push on yellow,
yeah, gets nothing really.
blue gets smacked, red
Yep.
runs the hoop anyway. So
Yeah.
because his reaction there wasn't of it was that was a definite fist pump of I meant to do that. So,
That was a great shot. And now Edmund's hampered, blocked going across to 5. So
and every court pretty much playing out the same. Kiwi get 2-0
Yep.
or 1-1 or 2-0 lead, and then Aussie come back to tie it. So
yeah.
it's been very tight all the way along. So probably closer than a lot of people would have thought on paper, with these now very experienced and very accurate young Kiwi guys.
Oh, George just did a jump shot at hoop 8, and he made it, and the ball seemed like it stuck in the hoop for a little while at the top of the hoop. So it quite an amazing thing to see. So Judy's ball's, I think it's a runner, but it's got quite a lot of angle on it, quite a bit of angle there. So she might be able to push that through, or certainly jump it through.
So I can't tell if it's 4-all up there on Robert Nelson's court or if it's 5-3. I've got a feeling it might be 5-3. Looks like there's 2 clips on hoop 2 up there, Terry.
Yeah, no, they're too young.
So 5-3 down. So George and Dallas 5-3 leading Robert Nelson. So back to this court. Judy's probably gone with the blue ball a little bit longish, but it's still...
It's a threatening ball.
Yep.
And red is not a runner, it's maybe a jawser.
So if black can kill the yellow,
yes.
we can overturn this hoop as well. Or,
hit the red, hit the blue, which is...
not ideal either.
So Edmonds
got the easy
normally just would run this straight through
which
to
he
the
does,
next hoop.
and
Stop just past the next hoop.
good control.
Yep. So he's about 4 yards past hoop 6. Nice hoop. As you can see, he doesn't take a lot of time over the ball at all. He just commits himself to the shot and steps up and takes it. So that's 3-2 to New Zealand. It's a good tight game. A little bit of contrast in styles, a little bit more finesse in the Australian team versus the sort of little bit of power that Edmund generates. Oh, that's a nice shot by Judy. Very good shot.
Don't think she's quite got the block. Or the wire, sorry, through the hoop, but it's
very close. Yep, looks like Edmund's just put a red directly in front because he thinks he can take the blue out.
Pete and Judy are still smiling, so that's good. They're after they smacked each other, that's it, all done now. They smacked each other once.
They've actually played very well together, Pete and Judy. It's been a good combination.
Not quite the line there. It's gone a bit too shallow. Good weight, but just ran around the left-hand side of the... Oh, Edmonds
put that... Well, he scored the hoop the wrong way round, so we take one off New Zealand.
Yeah, obviously, well, that'd be great.
Not really.
No.
For those who aren't really sure of the rules, I was joking. No, you don't take one off. It's just bad luck.
Another joke. So, yeah. Okay. Well, we nearly got it changed on the scoreboard. You have to watch what you say, Terry.
Sorry.
Oh, that's a 5-point hoop for Australia.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Oh, that's a bad miss.
Yeah, front legs a
bit of movement
tight
there,
and
Jude.
tense.
She was bouncing up and down as she hit the ball. A little bit of nervous energy.
Edmonds just getting Helen to push Pete away, hopefully to a wide position. Not wanting any risk of another hoop failure. He wants to take it on himself, and why wouldn't he? He's in prime position. She hasn't got the wire, but she's got a beautiful ricochet over to the next hoop.
Yeah,
so
that's a great shot across.
So any miss from Pete here is...
could cost 2 hoops.
That's it.
So that was a lovely slide off that black ball with the red. So she's left herself quite a little bit of an angle, but only about 3 feet out on hoop 7. So if Edmund can make 6, then she can just about make 7.
But
Pete's got to hit this. Yep,
Pete's going to hit this.
right in the middle.
Oh, he's gone and done an Edmund.
He's done an Edmund, but
and
he
he's,
hit
and
it.
he's hit it.
That's a shame.
Yep.
That's where his heart would have sunk when he looked up to see what angle it was going at, and then it went through the hoop and hit the ball anyway. So
It's seems to be a common thing. These guys are smacking the hoop quite hard. When they are ejecting, they're ejecting at least half court away. I mean,
they're not just missing there. When they miss, they're actually clunking them into the legs, which is.
I mean, a hoop there is obviously a huge advantage. I mean, you get that point, and red's beautifully up at the next one. So, yeah, you got to go for it. But
and you might wonder why he did take a little longer. Well, what they don't do is really not change anything. So if he hits it, he plays at one pace on one hoop, he'll play at the same pace on the next hoop, regardless of how critical a hoop it is. You never really want to change what you do in your preparation or your routine.
So we get to reload here, but Edmund's still only that dangerous. There might have been a little bit worried about Edmund being so close. So gives him a 9-yard shot instead of an 8-yard shot, but I don't think he's going to be too worried about 1 yard. He's either going to hit it in the guts or not.
Yeah, that's right. But I think Blue could still run that, can't it?
Yeah,
certainly,
Blue's a runner for sure, yeah. But Helen will come in, leaving Edmund with the shot again. So it's pretty simple tactics when you've got such a great hitter on your side. You don't have to do anything too fancy.
The biggest issue for Helen is just not to block Edmund when she comes in, to make sure she doesn't get in his line.
Yeah.
So Pete will try and block here. He's got Judy showing him where the block line is so that he can block Edmund.
Looks like they're trying to get a bit of both. Block the red at the hoop and also yellow at blue. So trying to
get on a double line.
Buck each way. So.
And the weather looks like it's closing in. It's just dropped a couple of degrees and got on very grey. And Roberts just made a 3/4 length Roki to clear George's ball.
Well, Felix has run a magnificent hoop 7, but he's dug a hole.
Oh gosh!
So he has absolutely nailed hoop 6 from the boundary.
Yards.
From 7 yards, and he's looking very dejected because he knows straight away, and he's caught him over. He was definitely not celebrating that.
What a shame!
I'd be leaving the ball there, wouldn't you? Yeah, and they do.
Yeah, they've said it's okay.
Yeah, no, he knew as soon as he hit it, he's dug a trench. So. So that would have been 4-2 to Kiwi if he'd hit that cleaner, but. Yeah, it's a great chance for Aussie to get back to 3-all.
See, he does a few of those. Felix, he hits the ground a little bit, but that's because he's such a he's so finely tuned. Just that little bit off the perfect shot, and he might scrape the ground. And he swings very hard too. So I shouldn't say he swings hard. His mallet moves very quickly.
Yeah.
It's an effortless swing. It's
pretty tight all over. I think court 4. It's.
So Helen here, I'm not sure if she's going for black or the hoop. I think she's probably going for the hoop.
She might go for a bit. Yeah, it looks like a hoop shot. No, going for the in off.
That's really her first inclination is always to clear, isn't it?
Yeah, we saw that a lot yesterday. But certainly worked for her.
Yeah, absolutely. She's been playing beautifully. So it gives Pete a chance to come back in. It's a nice shot. Very nice shot.
Yeah.
So he's left that about 2.5 yards out, almost directly in front, which isn't a bad shot coming out of quarter 2. So Pete's picked up the weight of the speed of the greens pretty quickly.
He's putting a bit of, not sure if red and blue are wide from each other, but
Yeah, he's just trying to
Yellow
interfere with,
getting in the backswing,
Judy's
so
swing, yeah.
cause some trouble, but I don't mind the little stun shot on yellow here.
Yeah.
Two in front,
Yeah, I think
red
that's
behind.
true.
I mean, Pete's a big boy, he can come back from being hit from red. So.
Yeah.
But they've sticking with the original plan. Blue's going to
He's
try
got
and
a clear red.
clear red, leave black the hoop shot.
And you find for most of these guys, it's distance isn't the issue when you're hitting at the hoops. It's the angles is a bigger concern. So for black, while it's 2.5, 3 yards out, it's pretty straight. So there's no fears there for Pete. And of course, the issue with quadways is that from angles they're a little bit harder to get through than the old-fashioned hoop, because if they reject you, they genuinely reject. Just slid past.
Yeah, on the left. I noticed when Helen did miss, she missed a lot to the left yesterday.
Yeah.
That was
But she's got that pencil grip, so
very consistently on the left side. So if Pete grabs this, we're back to a tied game again, which would be great. Yeah, smooth hoop.
beautiful shot.
Yeah.
Straight through the boundary, so
We've
it's a
done
lovely shot.
3-all.
So on court 1, Greg's got a half court, half width of the court clearance on the red ball at hoop 6.
Unfortunately, Fleur missed the hoop shot at 6 to capitalise on Felix's error, which now leaves Greg with a tough shot to keep him in it.
And Edmonds put that ball almost directly in front of hoop 7, so it's a lovely shot. But
Greg makes the half court
great
clearance, centre ball. So
yep, hit that right in the middle, so that's a beautiful brokey.
His shooting's been elite. Actually, the shooting by everyone has been amazing.
Yeah, that's. I mean, we say there was some missed yesterday and so on, but the conditions were difficult, and the number that are missed versus those that are made is very slim. The percentages are very high on the.
And they're all half-court shots as well.
Yeah, the percentages are really high on hits on rokies or clearances and hits on hoop, like running of hoops. Competition's very high.
So Pete's trying to get rid of Edmund, which he
And
does.
that's a beautiful.
And he might have got the wire on blue. It's going to be very close. I think Edmund will have a little bit. Or he might pop one back in there and just put pressure on Judy shooting the hoop again.
Yeah, because Judy's got a bit of angle on this, and it's very similar to the one she had that she popped at or missed at the last hoop.
Yeah,
so he'll put that as close as he can to her ball.
Yep.
And there we go. It's going to sit right in front of it.
Got the block, but that'll hopefully be an easy stun for Judy and keep control of the hoop.
In fact, she can even get straighter in front of the hoop.
So yellow must be closer to blue than we can think from this angle, because they're calling referee to make sure there's no faults on the sun shot. But maybe it's just out of courtesy, because I think Pete is pretty happy that it should be played all right.
Yeah, generally, if there's much doubt, we just at this level don't take the shot at all, because.
Or the camera angle now, you can see that there is a bit of distance. So I think that's she should be nailing this pretty comfortably.
Oh, beautiful shot.
Yeah, so she's got him about halfway down,
Halfway.
so it's probably an 11-yard shot back, 10, 11-yard shot
Yeah.
back, but she really wanted to make sure she didn't
Fault.
do a fault there. So
And she's forcing Helen to clear her, which she's missed to the left again, Pete.
Yeah,
Chris, sorry.
Oh, gee, that's a fine. That's a fine.
Gee, that's a
right.
fine. I made
Yeah,
the mistake twice
right,
now.
yeah.
Jeez. It's a drugs. So we'd expect that Edmund will hit that blue ball. So Pete will put his probably to the left as the camera shows of the blue, so that it can't get mixed up in any rebounds or anything else off the yellow. Try and keep that ball nice and safe.
Yeah.
So you always need to be careful not to go too close to the blue ball, because yellow hits it and it could come off the blue, hit the black, and you end up with a double clearance, which is a bit of a problem. Good for New Zealand, but not good for Australia. So Edmund's just checking to see whether Pete could run that, because he might just take out whichever he thinks is the more likely to run.
I mean, the normal play would be take out blue, then red has that 3/4 court
Yep.
shot at black, but Edmund might be thinking, well, Judy's been a bit scratchy, I'll take Pete,
Yep.
leave Judy with the shot. She's not likely to go all the way down like Pete, so
Yeah, that's the big issue, is that Pete runs that hoop, he'll run to the next hoop. If Judy runs it, she's probably going to stop somewhere around halfway at best.
so it's not really a slide at your partner here. It's more, 3/4 court shot.
Yep.
We're trying to, okay, we might lose this hoop, but we might save the next one.
Yeah, limit the damage. Oh, shot flirts, just nailed a clearance on the back court at hoop 6.
They're
So he takes out the blue, takes Judy's ball out. They decided that they needed to.
Helen can do it. Yeah.
Yep.
No, there's been a lot of centre ball hitting 12 to 14 yards on court 1 with Greg and Fleur and
Yeah.
Felix and
Sonia.
Sonia.
So Judy just comes back in directly in front. A nice shot. So Helen's now just at the penalty point on the east boundary, and she's going to shoot at Pete's black ball.
Well, maybe she aims at blue, she'll hit black. Fly to the left.
Yeah, if she misses
Yeah.
left by the time it covers that amount of distance, you're
Well,
right.
that looks pretty good.
Oh, that's only just
that's
slipped past
Slipped past.
on the left.
Ever so slightly on the left, yeah. But no, that's very close from that distance. Alright, let's see how far down the court Pete can get it.
Yep.
Must be good. Lead to Australia if he gets this.
Oh,
Kiss it death. Yeah.
there we go. That's what happens, I guess, when you're trying to get it all the way down to the other end.
Yeah, I think the taking the lead's quite important there.
Yeah.
I think we'll be looking at a hoop shot here from Edmund.
Yeah, I don't think he'll hesitate. Straight through. Well, I mean, he'd be trying to go straight through.
And he's killed the clip.
He didn't quite make that. Hit the right leg and careened off to the left.
Broken a clip. We'll
Broke the clip.
send the bill to Croquet, New Zealand.
Yeah, that's it. So Judy now has a round of 4-footer, pretty straight. Nice shot.
Oh, and halfway down. the court.
Halfway down,
That's,
as we sort of expected. So that's a beautiful shot, though. Ran that
Yeah.
through, lovely.
that's smooth. Showing the boys how it's done.
Exactly, exactly. Yeah, finesse every time. That's a nice approach by Helen. So it's just left of the hoop as the camera shows, and probably 3 yards. Pete's got a lot on that. That might go past, I think. Yep. Don't think he really wanted that. He really wanted to get in between red and the hoop. Put a bit of pressure on it.
Yeah, it's too easy for Edmund to double up and
Yep.
possibly get the wire, but he's cooked it a bit as well.
Yeah, it's two. So he's gone. Well, he's not gone past, but he's not in a running position. He's 4 feet to our left, and just a little short of the hoop. So red will shoot at this, so Judy's got to decide, do you have a shot at the hoop or a shot at red, or she might try and block it.
And she's going for the long jawsy hoop shot, but it's the court's taken over.
The court took that to the right.
You've got to be
Got to be firmer than that to hold the line.
yeah. The courts are really good at the right pace.
Yes.
They hold the line, but just that last metre they do tail off a lot. So
Yeah.
if you're trying to land it right on the hoop or on the jaws, you've got to put your putting gloves on.
Exactly. And there's not a lot of people trying to dribble into the jaws. We haven't seen that a lot because it's just such a dangerous shot. Because, as Chris said, they do tail off, and there's a little bit of mounding around some of the hoops. So it's very difficult to jaws the ball. Unless you're really in a position where you can run it.
That's right.
And some people have chosen to jaws when they're in a running position, because obviously it gives you the opportunity to run not only that hoop but to go up to the next hoop. If you're at an odd numbered hoop, go up to the next hoop and take good position on that as well. So, turning one into two, as we call it.
Robert and Allison are getting into a bit of trouble on court 4. I think, Robert's just missed a long roquet to clear George from the front of the hoop.
And they're at 12 now.
Yeah, they're at 12. I think that could be first game to Kiwi. But you can see Robert's getting annoyed up there.
So Peter's cleared that, leaving his black in front, 4 yards out, maybe 5 yards out, and pushing Edmund's yellow ball to mid-court. So Edmund I think he'll take position here, and I don't think blue can clear the red because of the
Well, I don't think he's
he meant
overly happy with that. That's just way too easy for blue to...
Yeah, I think blue will ignore the red now and just stun the yellow to the other end of the court.
Well, you want a little bit of angle. You don't want to make it too easy for red to stun you back. You want to drag a little bit and control the hoop. So
and miss black, of course, with the... So she'll go left with her blue. There we go.
Yep. So if red wants to chase it, it's dragging it away from the hoop.
Yep.
So, which is... But for just